On this video, I talked about 5 essential systems that you need to develop in order to make RPG games in Godot Engine. We already talked about the interaction system, so I recommend you to watch this video if you want to know how you can make an interaction system. And in this one, we are going to talk about how we can create an event system. We are going to understand what is an event system, how we can do it, and where we can use it, okay? So by the end of this video, you are going to understand how you can leverage the animation features of Godot Engine to create sequenced events in your game that you can just concatenate them and play them in order to create cutscenes or even trigger some sequence of actions that you need to create in your game without coding anything. Let's get started. What I have here is the project from my course, the Godot Adventure course, a course that is going to teach you how you can create an adventure game in 5 days. I'm going to talk about that later on in this video. And this is the planet Earth. So the planet Earth, as you can see, is right about here. And what I want to do is to make so that when players interact with planet Earth, this interface right here will be displayed. And well, let me move this spawner right about here because this is where the enemies are going to appear. What I want to do is that players will interact with planet Earth. This panel is going to appear. And when this panel appears, players can choose whether they want to fight against the saucers or not. If they confirm that they want to fight against the saucers, I want this animation to be played. After this animation is played, I want to spawn these enemies right here. So I want to spawn between 2 and 4 enemies between these 2 areas here. So inside this ring. And to do that, as you can see, we have numerous events, so numerous actions that we need to achieve in order to complete this event. And especially this event is dependent on the concatenation, the choreography of these actions. So when this one finishes, I want this one to happen, and after this one finishes, I want this other one to happen. So how we can do an event system? Let's go back here. I'm going to leverage the AnimationPlayer class because Godot animation system allows us to do a lot of things. So change properties, especially make method calls, but we can also make animation calls using animation players. So we can use an animation player to concatenate some animations together. We are going to leverage that to create our event system. What is the main feature that we are going to use here? We have the animation library. An animation library is what we are going to call an event, because inside this animation library we are going to have several animations that are going to be a complete event, so they are going to be on the same context. I want them to be played one after the other automatically. Currently, the animation player doesn't allow us to do that, because if you want to play the next animation, we need to know what is the next animation name, and we might not know that in runtime. So the major feature that this animation system will allow us to do is to create a method that is going to automatically play the next animation without having to receive any data outside of itself. We can connect this method to any signal. For instance, if we want to, we can link this method to an input event. So if the player pressed the skip button, this is going to skip to the next dialogue, so on and so forth, because I use this system to make dialogues as well. And dialogues is going to be another system that I'm going to talk about in this series, so subscribe to the channel if you want to know how you can make a dialogue system with animated portrait, support for voicing over, and other stuff. What we are going to do is to create a new scene based on an animation player, and we are going to call it an event player. So event player. I'm going to create a new folder called systems, and I'm going to create a new folder called events and save it right about here. Next up, let's create the script. So events. Okay, I'm going to call this, I'm going to give this class a name. So class name is going to be event player. And let me clean up all the other scripts. And the first thing that we are going to do is to create a variable that is going to hold what is the current index of the event. So current event index, which by default is going to be 0. This is so that we can find out in the animations list what is the animation that we should play. Why am I doing that? Godot Engine AnimationPlayer sorts out the animations index in its animations list based on their name, and we don't want that. We want an indexed sequence of animations, right? Because we want one animation to play after the other. They should be indexed so that I can ensure that no matter the name that I give to this next animation, it's going to be played after the previous one. This is something that we should keep in mind. This event system that I'm creating here is highly dependent on a indexing prefix. The name of every animation that we are going to create in this event system should be indexed with indexing characters such as 0, 1, dot, and then the name of the animation to ensure that this is going to be the first animation to be played, and 0, 2, dot, the name of the animation to ensure that this animation is going to be played after the first one. So coming back here, this is the event index, and we are going to create a method called play event that is going to receive what is the event index, and by default is going to be the current index value. It's not going to return anything. And the first thing that we are going to look for is to prevent that this method executes if we don't have anything in the animation list. So for that, we are going to look for if get animation list.size is less than 1. If this is the case, we return. So this means that we don't have any animations to be played. Another way we can do that, we can achieve the same behavior, is to simply use the isEmpty method to check this out. So next, what we are going to do is to actually play the animation. Okay, we are going to call it event. So the event is going to be whatever animation, get animation list that represents this index that we are passing here. So the event index. This is going to provide us with a string, which is the name of the animation, so we can play it using the play method. And this is our major method in this system. Next up, what we're going to do is to create a method that iterates on this current event index so that we can play the next event based on the event that just finished up. So function play next event. It's not going to receive anything and it's not going to return anything. And what we are going to do is to advance the animation so that if we didn't finish this animation yet, calling this method is going to advance it to the end so that we can have something like a skip button. To do that, we are going to seek the current animation position and see if it is less than the current animation length. And if so, we are going to advance by the current animation length. This is going to make it so that we advance the animation to the end, playing everything between. And the next time that we call this method, we are going to ensure that the current animation finished so that we can play the next one. So return, and then we can iterate on the current event index plus equal to 1. Actually, we should check out if we have enough animations, right? So if we didn't reach out the end of the list. So for that, we can do the following. Let's take rid of that and create an else statement so that we can always play this. So current event index is going to be plus 1, and if current animation index is greater equal than the get animation list size, get animation list dot size. Here we are going to return because then we already finished the event. So let's create a signal for that. So signal event started, signal event finished. and we are going to emit this right here. So next up, why are we not emitting this signal right here? Because the play event is actually an auxiliary function, because what we are going to do to actually start the event is another method that we are going to create later on. If we didn't reach the end of the list, we are going to play the event. And since we are already iterating this variable right here, and this is what we use to find out the event, we don't need to pass any arguments here. Then we actually reach the method that's going to play the actual event that we want to play. So play event library. We are going to ask for an event library name. That's going to be a string, and we're not going to return anything. So the first thing that we are going to do is to check if this event library actually exists, and if it doesn't, we are going to skip and emit, so prompt an error to whoever called this method passing an event library that doesn't exist. So if has animation library event library name, actually if this event player doesn't have this animation library name that we just passed, we are going to push a warning telling the, let's call this, doesn't exist in this event player. And we are going to use, okay, so here we're going to use to replace the placeholder with the event player name, and then we can return from here. Return. If we do have this animation library in this event player, what we're going to do is to find out what is the actual event, so the index of the first animation that is inside this animation library. For that, we are going to create a variable called event, which is going to be whatever we get from get animation library event library name dot get animation list, and then we are going to take the first index by default. This is going to return the name of this animation, so that we can use to find out what is the index of this animation in the animations list of this animation player or the event player. When we play with animation libraries in Godot Engine, the animation libraries are basically a bundle of animations, but they are all the same, they are all in the same group for the animation player. What does that mean? Regardless of where the index of a given animation in its animation library, the animation player is going to take into account the complete context. So for instance, let's say that we have 3 animation libraries, each one with 2 animations, and I want to play the first animation of the 3rd animation library. This is going to be the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, probably the 4, but you guys understand, right? So this is counted like an array, so it starts with 0, but each one of them, the index of these animations is grouped together. So in order to access the first animation of the 3rd animation library, we need to take into account all the other animation libraries as well. And to fix that, to prevent that we got lost in this process, we are going to automate the figuring out, the finding of what is the index of the event that we are currently playing. So index, actually, let's call this event index, right? So event index is going to be get animation list dot find, and we are going to pass 2 placeholders, one for the event name, which is the one that we find here, and actually the first one is going to be the event name library. Then we're going to put a slash and then the event name. So this is the structure that we need to use in order to find the complete name of the event that we're playing, because the way that it's organized in the animation player is that it's going to, the name of the animation is the animation library slash then the name of the animation, not just the name of the animation. We are going to use 2 placeholders separated by a slash like this, And the first one is going to be the event library name. And actually we need to put them into an array. And the second one is going to be the event. Actually, let's make event name to make it clearer. So event name. Okay, so this is the index of the event that we want to play. Now we can actually set the current event index to be the index. Actually, we could just make directly here, but I like to avoid this kind of stuff. I like to give names to my procedures. And then we are going to play the event. We don't need to pass anything. And now we are going to emit event started signal. So event started dot emit. Let's save that. And now we have our event player. So let's come back here to Earth. And what we are going to do is to create this, to add an event player. So event player. Let's create an animation library that's going to be spawn saucers. Okay. So spawn saucers, and it's going to have two animations probably, but let's keep it up like this. So the first thing that the first animation that we are going to do is to display this panel with the default text like this. What we're going to do is to set this text to this content right here. So display prompt. Well, let's save this already. So save this. Actually, we also need to toggle the visibility of this panel as well. So here on layer visible, it's going to start right here like this, and then we're going to play. So this is what's going to happen by default. Actually, we can do something like visible ratio 0. And then after 0.5 seconds, we are going to show the complete text. And we are going to wait for the player's prompt. Next up, we are going to create a new animation library so that we have an option for the yes button and another option for the no button. Okay, so an event for the yes button and an event for the no button. To do that, let's create a new animation library. This reset animation is not supposed to be here. This one is actually, this should be here. So let's take rid of that. And okay, so let's create a new one called accepted. And one for denied. Let's start with the denied one because it sounds easier. So let's select denied 01.denied. And well, basically what this is going to do, I think that we can play backwards. So we can start with the text like this. It's going to end like this. We can toggle the visibility of this, of the canvas layer. So 0.5, and there we have it. So it's going to play it backwards. Oops. It's going to play it backwards and disappear. I don't want to make fancy animations because I don't want to take your guys' time. Let's create the new animation for the accepted. So accepted. You don't have to, of course, you don't have to match these names. You can name the animations however you want, as long as you pay attention to its indexing characters, okay? So let's do that. If the player pressed the yes button, what we are going to do is to play this animation. So animation playback here, countdown, so it takes 3 seconds. Here we can also toggle the visibility of these buttons as well, so let's do that. Okay, create reset tracks. But it's going to start like this. Like this. And okay, after this finished, what I'm going to do is to call the PlayNext event. So call method track on the animation player, play next. So let's ensure, okay, so play next, and let's create the next event, which is going to hide everything and spawn the enemies. So new 02.spawn. This is going to hide this panel. Okay, and call this method and call a method on this random range counter. So random range counter right here. Okay, so this is our event, and note that we could even change what is the scene that we are going to spawn, but I think that I don't want to play with that. I have a friend that is making a bullet heaven that is making all the spawning and the wave system using this event system as the backbone for the wave system. Actually, I made a game for the GMTK game jam. It was a tower defense. It's basically a tower defense on rails because you play as a train. And I also use this very system here as the backbone for my wave system. It's pretty flexible, so it allows us to do a lot of things for any game genre. I have a friend that is making a visual novel just with this event system. Well, not just with that, but majorly with this event system running on the background. So the whole visual novel game is running upon this system. Let's try this out. So the idea is that when I interact with planet Earth, so let's connect this button here. We are going to play the event library accepted. Connect. This one denied. Connect. If you want to know how this interaction system works, again, I'm going to recommend you to watch the interaction system video. And I'm going to connect this interact signal to the play event library spawn saucer. Is this the name of the event? So we just have to ensure that we are calling the proper, spawn saucers. Edit. Okay. So with that, technically, I think that everything is ready to be tested. Let's try this out. So I'm going to go back here to the game and play it. If I get close to planet Earth, I'm going to have the interaction aura displaying. Oh, okay. So we don't have the focus on any of these buttons. Let's fix that. So coming back here in the event index, this one, I'm going to use the yes button. So call method yes button, and we're going to grab focus. So again, okay, so yes, get ready in 3, 2, 1, and there we have it. Let's see if the deny button is also working. Oh yeah. They are not being displayed because here I also have to make them visible. So visible and visible. Let's go back there. Yes, get ready in 3, 2, 1. let's try this out. Yeah, everything is working as it should. Pretty cool. So as you can see, this reduces the amount of lines of code like a lot. I can't imagine how much this actually decreases the amount of code lines that you have to make for your game if you rely on animations instead of coding, because anyway you would have to figure out what is the current animation, so on and so forth. But having relying on the animation player system to create these events and don't depend on hard coding all these events is pretty productive. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to know more about game development and game design. Don't forget that this is part of my Godot Adventure Essentials course, a course that is going to teach you how you can make an adventure game in 5 days. Each day you are going to learn how you can make one of these the fundamental systems that you need to create in order to make RPG games or adventure games in general in Godot Engine. And when I say adventure games, I'm talking about any game with adventure elements, so games with dialogues, games with interactive objects, so on and so forth. This Godot Adventure Essentials course is meant to help you figure out how you can have the very fundamentals of your adventure games in 5 days. So if you finish this course in 5 days, you are going to have everything that you need to start making your adventure games with Godot Engine. The link for the landing page is going to be in the description. I already have a free class that you can access in the landing page as well. Play a little bit with the final project so that you understand what we are going to end up with by the end of the course, and also take the free class so you understand what is my teaching methodology, so you can see if it matches your learning needs. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Keep developing, and until the next one, see you there.